I'm going to say some bad words. You're just going to have to deal with it.
And the word that everyone hates to hear, rebuild. Yes, the Chicago Bears are in a rebuild. There is no doubt about it. But the Bears are doing the right things right now to have long-term success after these growing pains. Day After Reaction is here. Welcome to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde. Thank you for joining us. And today we are now really thinking through exactly what went wrong yesterday, but talking about all the positives of what came out of yesterday as well. The offense, all things considered, had 392 yards total offense. That's not bad. Justin Fields had himself, honestly, the best day he could have had with being absolutely killed out there thanks to his horrible play of his offensive line. Sacked 3 times, all in the first half. At least Chris Morgan was able to make the adjustments with the offensive line, but it was too late. Justin Fields was running around for his life. Why he had 12 rushes for 88 yards as a quarterback, which is super impressive. But Fields also had 190 passing yards. And to be honest, he should have had way more than that, considering the fact that he did have some misreads. He did leave some guys wide open, but overall, Justin Fields still played a pretty good ball game for what he had to work with. He has no wide receivers either, so give him the benefit of the doubt there. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The interception itself was interesting because he literally threw it into a defender's face and it popped up a mile high and no one could bat it down, and unfortunately it was picked off by the defense. Unacceptable, but Justin again was getting killed out there. He had no time. He had to get rid of the ball, and if he would have hit the pass, he would have hit Cole Kmet in the end zone, which would have been great, but overall it ended up with an interception. Again, I think he played well. He did what he had to do. He had multiple drops by his wide receivers, and it's just unfortunate with the roster that he has to work with the talent that Justin Fields has to offer. And also, guys not running fast enough and dropping balls does not help. Cough, cough, Ryan Griffin. So let's move to the running backs. David Montgomery had a pretty good day for himself. I mean, again, like he's doing the best he can out there with the offensive line that he's working with. He had 15 rushes for 67 yards, so 4.5 yards per rush. Khalil Herbert also had the rush of the day that was over, I think it was like 65 yards or something like that. And he had 7 rushes in total for 75 yards. So most of his rushing yards came off the one, but still, that was the one we needed, and he easily could have scored, in my opinion, but he just ran out of gas. But overall, the running backs, as always, had a pretty good day. Can't complain too much about them. Someone that we can complain about, though, is the wide receivers and the tight ends. Darnell Mooney was the bright spot of the wide receiver group with 7 catches for 68 yards. I thought he had a great day to the end where he should have gone a little bit more into the end zone. Potentially that could have won the game. And I guess also he said something about the lights being too bright. I don't know. Nate Atkins posted about it. I don't know if Nate was kidding or not, but if that's true that the lights were too bright, like, come on, man. You got to put on the visor or something, or then go talk to the grounds crew and turn down the light dimming a little bit. I don't know what to tell you there. But still, you're a professional. He should have caught the ball. He should have been a little bit more in the end zone. Cole Kmet was quiet overall as well. He only had 1 catch for 15 yards. But I think something was up with him, because why would the Bears throw to Ryan Griffin in a red zone situation when Cole Kmet is tight end 1? I'm just putting that out there. I don't know if Kmet was battling some sort of injury that we don't know about yet. But again, I think that something's going on there, so I can't put too much blame on Kmet, but still another quiet day for the tight end. Velus Jones Jr. I hope he never returns a kickoff or punt return ever again. For the second time in 3 games, he fumbled a punt return that ended up being a lost fumble. I mean, he shouldn't fumble it anyway, but overall, just a horrible game. And Matt Eberflus, sorry about that. Matt Eberflus actually did something that Matt Nagy would have never done and pulled a guy out of a game and pretty much was sending the message, you're not doing your job. Velus Jones Jr. came out and said, I, as a man, admit that that was my mistake and I want to be better, but that's not going to help the Bears go back and win the game against the Commanders. Not saying that it was the reason why we lost, but it's a huge factor, and it's another turnover and giving the ball to possession to the Commanders, which the defense did a fantastic job holding them to their own. We'll get into that in a second. But drops and misreads killed us. So on Justin Fields and on the wide receivers. Quickly on Fields, he had a couple plays where Dante Pettis was open in the end zone and also open across the middle on a 4th down throw. Fortunately, he didn't make the play, but Pettis was wide open. So that's something that Fields needs to work on, not always going to the guy who's designed. Make sure that you look around the field and make sure that you see that if someone else is available and can make a better play, go for it. But my goodness, Pettis also had a big drop in the end zone. I thought there was pass interference on the play, but still it ended up being a drop, and it could have given the Bears that second touchdown they needed in order to win the game. Also, Ryan Griffin, again, slow as hell, could not make a play in the end zone on that awesome trick play from Justin Fields. So well sold. And Ryan Griffin literally looks like he has cement in his shoes. He's just running so slow. He didn't look like he knew where it was going. He didn't look like he was expecting it. And as a professional, you need to make that play. And for anyone saying that Justin Fields threw it too fast, if he threw it slower, the defender could get over faster. In theory, yes, Griffin was wide open, but still, like throwing it slower, I don't agree with that argument. I think that Ryan Griffin should have made the play because Fields and company sold it very well. Finally, Smith-Marsette, the most hated man in Chicago. I don't know why Luke Getsy is even putting this guy in plays anymore, or Matt Eberflus is allowing it, because of the fact that why are they even playing? Like, why is he in the game where he's clearly not making an impact? He didn't make an impact last week. The Bears lost the game because of that in Minnesota, his fumble in Minnesota. And then he dropped a crucial play on 4th down late in the game where the Bears might have gotten another offensive possession, and he flat out dropped it. Completely unacceptable. Let's go to the offensive line, which was also unacceptable. They are now ranked the worst in the NFL, according to Kevin Cole. The Bears are on their own island when it comes to quarterback dropbacks, with not having either enough time or pressure, and they rank worse in both of those. Completely unacceptable, especially after starting the season as a top 10 offensive line. Tevin Jenkins is the only consistent spot, though. I will give him that, but we need all 5 guys to be consistent. Overall grade, I'm giving the offense a D-. I know that it's, some people are giving them Fs, but I'm giving them a D- because Fields did show a lot of promise. Montgomery and Herbert showed a lot of promise. And just overall, it's a rebuild. And I'll keep saying it. It's a rebuild. Let's go to the defense real quick. Defense is continuing to improve. That's all we can ask for. Only gave up a total of 214 yards. Not bad against the number 10 passing offense in the NFL. They had a weak run. They were ranked 28th entering the game. And the Washington Commanders actually only had a total of 100. Well, they had 128 rushing yards. But again, the Bears are the worst rush offense in the NFL. And that's really all they could do against us because Carson Wentz only had 90 yards total. I'm giving the defense a B+ because Allen Williams and crew kept the Bears in this game the entire time. Yes, there were a few plays that they gave up, but they didn't give up any of those big plays that you kind of just like grab your head and you're like, oh, come on now, Allen Williams, adjust for that. They did a good job. I'm hats off to Allen Williams, but he's got to do it more than one week. I'm putting my hats off this week. I will give him the respect of that he is a good defensive coordinator. Not saying he's horrible, but I'll give him that good status if he can do it for multiple weeks in a row. Also, Roquan Smith had 12 tackles and a sack, minimal penalties, which was great. And the secondary continues to impress. Eddie Jackson with 5 tackles, Kyler Gordon with 6 tackles, and Jaquan Brisker with 5 tackles and a sack. So again, I know this is tough. Mainly the offense is the talking point of today, but the Bears are in a rebuild, and we as fans need to lower our expectations because we're only going to drive ourselves crazy if we continue to keep pushing forward that this team is going to make the playoffs this year. It would be a pleasant surprise, but overall, not looking out for it. But with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde. Have yourself a great weekend.